On the news, Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria embark on indefinite strike.
Forward ever, backward never.
2023 supplementary budget. Senate passes bill for second reading at plenary.
Makes provision for 18 billion naira.
Plus, House receives medium-term expenditure framework 2024 to 2026.
Make further provisions for additional palliative measures, including the wage award for public servants.
Good evening and welcome to Parliamentary News on NTA Parliament. I am Ekpefo. Many thanks for joining us. The industrial action embarked upon by Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASAN, has entered its third day. The indefinite strike, which commenced on Monday, 30th October, paralyzed legislative activities in the various state houses of assembly across the country. Here are our correspondents with situation reports across the nation. And we begin with Kaduna State, where Adamu Sunday reports that members of the association are demanding full implementation of financial autonomy for legislative workers and payment of backlog of allowances.
Forward ever, backward never.
This is not the first time the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria is embarking on strike demanding the full implementation of the financial autonomy signed by the previous administration. Entrance to the assembly complex is barricaded, preventing the lawmakers from gaining access to their offices.
Salary structure of judicial worker were implemented. Same with doctors. They have one salary structure which has been called Quanhes. It has been implemented.
When the employer continue to fail his agreement, the labor or the workers have no any other option than to withdraw their services.
The Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria Kaduna State Chapter are poised to continue with the ongoing strike until all their demands are met by the Kaduna State government. In Kaduna, Adamu Sunday, NTA News.
In Lafia, Nasarawa State, Adams Abdulkadri reports that the chamber was shut down and legislative business came to a standstill.
After 3 years that legislative financial autonomy was assented to by former President Muhammadu Buhari, Nasarawa State is among other states that are yet to implement it fully or partially. Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PANSAN, Nasarawa State Chapter joined its counterpart across the Federation to express displeasure, mounting the State House of Assembly and chanting solidarity songs with different placards showing different inscriptions.
What is due for the State Assembly directly to it. And that is just this thing. Without financial autonomy, House of Assembly cannot function effectively and independently.
In Lafia, Adams Abdulkadri, NTA News.
In Bauchi State, Nasiru Umar Tiwun reports that it was a total lockdown.
Legislative activities at the Bauchi State House of Assembly had been grounded as the assembly complex was under lock and key following the industrial action embarked by the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria.
You look at the amended Constitution, 1999 amended Constitution has clearly stated Section 121, subsection 3, that all funds belong to the legislature, arms of government, should go direct to their account.
Time has come for them to give autonomy to the houses of assembly.
This is not the first time on this decision by Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASAN, in order to have full implementation of legislative houses autonomy across the nation. From Bauchi State House of Assembly, Nasir Umar Turun, NTA News.
Similarly, correspondent team in Calabar, Cross River State, reports that the state chapter of the union also joined in the strike.
Solidarity forever, and the union
Members of the Cross River State Chapter of Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASAN, were at the entrance of the State House of Assembly on announcing commencement of indefinite strike as a result of non-implementation of financial autonomy for state legislature. This action paralyzed legislative activities as members were denied access to the hallowed chambers.
But as it is, the state governor, they are not complying to these demands, and that is why PASAN has made it clear for all members of Association of PASAN to go on a national strike, just to make governors to be aware that we are serious this time, there's no going back.
Legislative autonomy, both financially and administratively, is now a matter of the Constitution.
In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
From Jigawa State, northwest Nigeria, Ibrahim Sani reports that subsidiary unions such as that of the Public Complaints Commission also joined in the industrial action.
Solidarity forever! The nationwide strike declared by the Parliamentary Association of Nigeria over non-implementation of financial autonomy for the legislatures followed the expiration of the 21-day notice and the additional one-week notice issued to allow for the implementation. In Jigawa State, the strike action declared by the Parliamentary Association of Nigeria witnessed full compliance. All offices remain under lock and key, with the assembly premises deserted completely.
We have one for the fully implementation of financial autonomy, and two for CONLES, which is consolidated legislative salary structure of the staff of State House of Assembly.
After the expiration of that 21 days, we give them 7 days, which is fair on 27 October this month.
We are here for a solidarity, as you can see. I'm here with my members. We are here to support them so that to ensure that every office is locked.
In Duse, Ibrahim Sani, NTA News.
Sokoto State was not left out as correspondent Nuruddin Abdullahi Adili reports that Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria shut down the State House of Assembly.
Members of the association in Sokoto joined their counterparts nationwide as they embarked on an indefinite strike, shutting down all activities in the assembly.
We synchronize the budget, we pass the budget and give to them. It's like you cook the food and give somebody. You are feeling hunger. He deny you the food.
In Sokoto, Nuruddin Abdullahi Adili, NTA News.
Yemi Dalemo in Abeokuta, Ogun State, reports that legislative activities at the State House of Assembly were also paralyzed.
The chairman of PASAN in Ogun State, Comrade Ayotunde Ojediro, while addressing members of the union, notes that the industrial action is to demand implementation of financial autonomy for state legislatures in compliance with Section 10, Subsection 2, 13 and 14 of the Statutory Offices State Emolument Amendment Law 2018 and the State Assembly Service Commission Law 2018, and to demand for the payment of 40% peculiar allowance to legislative staff.
Aside the financial legislative autonomy, we are still fighting the state, and we are also demanding, rather, telling the state government to comply with the provisions of our law. The non-compliance with that provisions of the law, as I said earlier, has resulted to the non-payment of the due salaries and allowances of the three ranking officials in the state legislative service.
In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
Muyiwa is in Osogbo, Osun State. What is the situation at the State House of Assembly?
With different inscriptions, members of PASAN blocked the entrance of Osun State House of Assembly.
Demand is full implementation of financial autonomy for the state and full implementation of consolidated legislative salary structure for the staff of the assembly.
Signing the autonomy is not an issue, but implementation is important, which I think is one of the reasons why there is a delay as far as Osun is concerned.
From Osun State House of Assembly, Muyiwa Omowumi, NTA News.
We move on to Maiduguri, Borno State, where Kaigama Mustafa reports that parliamentary staff in the state were in total compliance with the directive.
For the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, FASAN,
He's urging the state governors to obey the law.
Section 121, subsection 3 of the Constitution is explicit about the financial autonomy to the state assemblies. So we are embarking on strike not because we lack our welfare to our members. It's not personal, but we want the state governors to obey the rule of law.
21-day ultimatum for the implementation of the financial autonomy was issued by the union, failure of which led to strike action. In Maiduguri, Haigama Mustafa, NTA News.
Wasiu Rauf, who monitored the situation in Ibadan, Oyo State, reports.
Legislative business have been crippled in Oyo State House of Assembly since the commencement of the industrial action, as entrance to the assembly complex has been put under lock and key by the legislative staff under the umbrella of Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASAN.
We are now demanding for full implementation of autonomy, whereby they will release both the capital, overhead, and the running overhead and the personnel. Then, and at the same time, the commission bill, the commission bill, which had been passed by this Oyo State House of Assembly in 2021, must be assented to.
Meanwhile, it was gathered that the chairman of the Speakers Conference in Nigeria, who is also the speaker for Oyo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin, earlier appealed to PASAN national leadership in Abuja to shelve the proposed strike in Ibadan. Wasiu Rauf, NTA News.
And away from industrial action, the Rivers State House of Assembly was reported to have been gutted by fire following leadership tussle in the state. Let's join our correspondent Kingsley Amajiri in Port Harcourt for a situation report.
Two incidents happened earlier this morning, although the previous night the hollow chambers of this state assembly was burnt down by some group yet to be identified. Earlier on this morning, some members of the House of Assembly, though we could not verify the numbers of those that sat at the one of the auditorium, passed a resolution and suspended the leader of the State House of Assembly, Edison Ege, alongside 4 other lawmakers. And why that incident happened, about 3-4 minutes here, about the governor of Rivers State, similarly, visited the State Assembly and went into the hollow chambers where he condemned the actions that took place in the night, and also said that whatever decision the members of the House of Assembly supported more and more, bearing in mind that the hollow chambers where they usually sit have been burnt down. He said that the state government will provide the platform where the members should sit and have their deliberations. While these incidents are happening, the two access to this state House of Assembly have been cordoned off by men of the Nigerian police. And indeed, this is an unhealthy development for the democracy here in Rivers State. While the incidents are all unfolding, the governor of the state said he is willing to pay the sacrifice for the sustenance of democracy in Rivers State. It's back to you in the studios.
Thank you, Kingsley, for that update. And still to come, leadership of the National Assembly commits to repositioning the education sector. This will be after the break. Don't go away.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the Marketing Department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
This is Parliamentary News reaching you from NTA Parliament. You can follow this news broadcast and other programs on the social media platforms on your screen. Senate passes for second reading a supplementary appropriation bill of 2.1 trillion naira for 2023 to address some critical areas of need. 18 billion naira is for statutory transfer, 992.8 billion naira for recurrent, while 1.1 trillion naira is development fund. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zak Adedeji, was also screened and confirmed as requested by President Bola Tinubu.
The request for consideration and passage of the 2023 supplementary budget is among several other communications to the Senate from President Tinubu read during Tuesday's plenary. The budget bill, as outlined by the Senate leader Ogbeyemi Bamidele in the lead debate, seeks to address critical areas of need such as provision of palliatives, infrastructure, social investment and funding for defense and security, among others.
Makes provision for 18 billion naira for the Independent National Electoral Commission to support them in the conduct of the Bayelsa, Imo and Kogi general elections.
The children of this country should have access to loan to fund their educational pursuits. This is a small sum, this 8 billion.
Capital supplementation as 210. In other words, this budget is purposely made to address the short-term and the immediate and pressing issues.
It is something that we need to support so that the government will be put in the best place to secure our country, enhance our infrastructure and the agricultural sector as well.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, tasked the relevant committee to expedite work on the bill after passing second reading.
This bill is now referred to the Committee on Appropriation, and in view of the urgency, to report back as soon as practicable.
Also communicated to the Senate is the 2024 to 2026 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy paper for consideration and approval. The remaining 4 letters seek confirmation of the 10 newly appointed resident electoral commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, board members of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, the Substantive Auditor General of the Federation, Mr. Shaka Chira, and the Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mr. Zak Adedeji, who was shortly after ushered in for screening and later confirmed.
The tax we collect from our payee is one of the highest. Meanwhile, individuals that make a lot of money, even from government, they pay less revenue.
The Inland Revenue Service doesn't want to look at company expenses when they are computing tax. Without those expenses, there is no way tax can be generated. And the school teacher gets a salary of 50,000 and pays maybe 5,000 on tax. And the person that makes profit of trillions gets waiver of trillions.
What we need is actually the data. The problem we have as a nation is not the collection, is that we don't even have data to plan.
Plenary featured first reading of 4 other bills, 2 of which seek establishment of erosion control and flood management commissions. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu has submitted the 2024-2026 medium-term and fiscal strategy paper to the House of Representatives for consideration and approval, preparatory to the submission of the 2024 budget proposals. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikwen reports that a supplementary appropriation bill 2023 of 2.17 trillion naira was also submitted by the executive, its scaled second reading at the House.
The 2024 to 2026 medium-term expenditure framework was submitted alongside another 2023 supplementary budget of 2.17 trillion naira, of which 992.8 billion naira is for recurrent non-debt expenditure, while 1.6 trillion naira is for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure, and another 18 billion naira for statutory transfers.
To make further provisions for additional palliative measures, including the wage award for public servants and the enhanced cash transfer program.
Leader of the House, Julius Ihonwiri, led the debate for the consideration of the 2023 supplementary budget for good governance.
The budget is designed to address those critical infrastructural and social issues that continue to be there for policy implementation in the country.
2 locations on Onisha, Owerri, dualized federal highway, Mr. Speaker, will be part of this supplementary budget. Mr. Speaker, also Bini Abo, Bini Sapele, Bini Bypass Road, Sapele Road to Lagos, and Bini, Ekpoma, Auchi, Express Road, they are part of it.
I also want to call on my colleague to support this particularly because of the security interventions.
The President has also introduced about 200 billion to close the gap of 35,000 increasement which he has promised to the civil servants. From what we have seen so far, the President wants to construct 42,000 housing across 6 geopolitical zones.
Sequel to a motion of urgent public importance, the House also passed a resolution to scrutinize the implementation of the 1.1 trillion naira conditional cash transfer to vulnerable Nigerians.
To invite the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation to give detailed policy document adopted in allocation and distribution of funds for the conditional cash transfer.
In another resolution, the Inspector General of Police was asked to speedily identify and prosecute the killers of Miss Grace Silas, a National Youth Service Corps member deployed to Kaduna State, who was brutally murdered while jogging in Banawa area of the state.
Father is alive, and that's the only child they have is late Miss Jalia Silas. That's why we demand justice, that the killers be found and brought to book.
From the National Assembly, Nitaire Ikwen, NTA News.
Away from legislative business, the leadership of the National Assembly says it remains committed to repositioning and revitalizing the education sector to meet contemporary challenges. This was the thrust of speeches at the 7th convocation ceremony of the 2023 National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies and the University of Benin postgraduate programs. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
A lineup of men and women who can be regarded as agents of hope in the renewed mantra of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. Successful program marks the end of a phase of learning and the beginning of another phase of work.
Rest assured that you have a ready partner in the 10th Senate and the National Assembly to change the fortunes of our country. Is a task we are committed to and a task that must be done.
Education is essential for the sustainable economic growth and overall development of Nigeria. Not only does it empower individuals, it also builds the foundation for a resilient, innovative, and prosperous society.
Education does not end here. It is a lifelong journey of continuous inquisitiveness, learning, and character, as well as growth. Embrace new ideas, challenge existing paradigms, and remain steadfast in your commitment to the values that band our society together.
Other speakers at the event enjoined the celebrants to explore emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and robotics, which have immense benefits in the society to make Nigeria great. About 81 graduates successfully completed their studies in various fields of endeavor. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
That's the size of our package at this time. Do follow our programs on the social media handles on your screen. On behalf of the production crew, I am Vivian Itekbefo. Good evening.